Hello everybody, today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I mean, it's still along the same lines. I'm just going to be doing a voiceover instead of actually physically doing this with you guys because I recorded it when I I didn't have access to my microphone, so it's a long story. But anyways, let's just dive into the voiceover. Alright, today I'm going to be walking you through how to make, oh my goodness, endless tiles. So first I'm taking a copy of this 48. The size of the canvas I'm working on now is 480 by 480, so I just added 100 to my, the RPG basic 48 by 48. And this is just to show you this is an endless tile, right? It's seamless. You can't tell where one ends and the next begins. So that is what I'm going to show you how to create. Now, I did originally learn how to do this from, It's when when MZ released, they put out a bunch of tutorials on how to do a bunch of different things, and I originally learned how to do this from there, and I would like to preface this with, I usually go for a lot more of a pixelated style with a lot of, heavy details in my game, so this isn't really in my style, and I didn't put a lot of effort into it. But, I think it actually turns out pretty cool. So right now I'm just building the tile. So you saw I cut that in half and I moved the top half to the bottom and the bottom half to the top. And then I'm just going to continue to do this over and over again, filling in the blank spaces. And this is the very, very basic way of how you get in this tile, is you just continuously move them side to side and just add more to the middle. That is the basic way to describe it. And mind you, everything you do on this huge one will get scaled down a lot. So, you could technically do this on a 48 by 48 tile. You don't have to scale it up, and then you would just use the same method of copying it and pasting it over and over and over again. But I like the way it turns out when I do it big, because I can make these huge details and add more details to them. And then when it gets shrunk down, it gets shrunk down. Now, the reason this looks weird is because I forgot that I didn't change because by default, when you import any image into GIMP from Basic RPG Maker, it is indexed. And I made the grass tile in G. So that's why it looks a little off and a little wonky color-wise, but I ended up really liking how it looked, so I didn't go back and change it retroactively. So now I'm going to show you in the system, just making a new tile set. I'm just showing you how it looks. It's endless. I mean, sure, you can definitely tell where the edge is, but that you can fix by just not drawing near the edge, but you can 100% tell where everything is and everything. So now I'm going to show you how to make, after I finish saving it, how to make bushes and outlines. So you see how this one has kind of an outline of grass around the dirt? Okay. I highly advise that you make your own for this, but I was being incredibly lazy for this video, so I was copying and pasting what had already been made. So what I did is I took all of the grass and selected by color each individual pixel, and then I removed all the other ones. This could have been avoided by copying and pasting the one I was copying from, but it wasn't really that big of a deal just to remove all the extra pixels, and then I filled it in with black. So now I have my outline for two different ones, one for grass, one for stone, I guess. And since I was doing grass, I only used the grass one. I noticed here that it was a little wonky. because of the copying and pasting, and I tried to fix it by just penciling over it, then realized I could just duplicate it a crap ton of times and it would fix itself. So that was me doing that. You always want to make sure that you keep your basic one when you're doing stuff like this, because you don't want to delete stuff and then not be able to get it back. Now you see we have a very, very basic bush tile. And then I'm going to copy paste this one again. And then move it up. And this time I'm going to make a outline tile. Mind you, very, very basic. I haven't done anything special to it. And there you go, outline tile. I do recommend making the templates if you're going to be making a lot of different ground tiles, because it just makes it so much easier. Okay, now for this, you will want your grass or outline tile to be on a separate layer all on its own. Then this is me just screwing around with this, trying to make it completely black. The easiest way is just select anything that's not it, invert it, and then fill it with black. And then I'm going to move, actually I'm going to make sure it's only that area selected. I'm going to blur it. And then I'm going to move it down to the bottom layer. This is a very quick and dirty version of it. Usually you'd want to select each individual section and do it because it'll overlap. Like see here, you can see kind of the shadow coming from this one. You do not want that. So normally you'd want to select each individual, but as I said, I was doing a quick and dirty version. And now this will go over top. So same thing, you'd want to select each individually. I did not. Then you blur it. I just used the same level of blur, and then I went back through and deleted everything not overlapping, and that kind of gives the edge more of a tapered appearance, so it doesn't just suddenly end. And then I went and did the exact same thing with the outline. You'll see it gets that gets deleted, then a black layer gets created. Same thing, select invert, fill with black. And then you can see right there, you could see what the green overlay does. And I always turn down the opacity, merge it down. Then let's look at it in the game. There you have the basic, and there you have the outline and the bush. Now you'll notice a little line on the bush, like right where the character's standing. That I go back and fix later. It was just an issue with the shadows, which I think I'm gonna go fix now. Yes, yeah, see how the the layer there is acting wonky? That's what was causing those lines, so I just go through and fix that real fast. And then, yeah, no, bada boom, bada bang. It's fixed. Now, notice every time I do change something to the tile, I go into the tile set tab and hit OK, and I just reopen the database. That reloads the tile set in the system and creates a different way for it to work. Now I am going I made it to push, so that just means it halfway overlays the character. I'm holding down Control to walk across tiles that I normally couldn't, so that's how I'm jumping between the three sections. Well, that one 2 times looks really wonky. But anyways, next I am going to show you... Oh, I forgot about this. So I didn't like how square everything was, so I rounded the corners. And then deleted that extra stuff, because it was just annoying and annoying. So yeah, that was just me rounding the corners and making it look slightly better. But after I export this and then show that in there, I'm going to show you how to make a more customizable waterfall and water in the game. Pulling up the water, I'm doing the grid again, and this one does not require any extra one because I'm being lazy and copying and pasting. You can 100% make your own water tiles for this. I just didn't want to because I am very bad at it. You could have your threshold selected higher for that. I just didn't because I like torturing myself, evidently. Here's me going through and selecting all of the tiles that are slightly tinted brown from the sand. During this one is when I figure out that I have it on indexed instead of RPG. Not RPG, oh my god. RNG, not RNG. You'll see it when I pull it up. I don't remember the acronym. It might be. I cut it and paste it and bring it to a new one. Here's me just going through and adjusting all of the colors. so that they're no longer the brown tinted, they're more blue tinted than brown tinted. And while they're still a little brown tinted, they look a lot more uniform. And then I'm going through and adjusting the overall one. The reason it's being so wonky is, again, I have it on indexed, but I wanted to make it just a little more blue, so I did. Then this is me going to start on the waterfall. The way I'm doing this is not the best. It's a way to do it, and it was a good way to have an example for it. But, you know, you live, you learn. And it still kind of worked. But so here I'm going through and lightening the darker areas and darkening the lighter areas, just so the rock wall you see behind the waterfall becomes a lot less obvious. And this is all to personal taste. You can do whatever the heck you want. And then I export it, and then I'll show you the basics in the game again. So since I had a waterfall, I had to build a little mountain to show you the waterfall going down. But notice I'm messing around with layering here. When you do the water like this, you do have to mess around with layering, but there you go. It looks even wonkier in 2x mode. So something I didn't do that I should have done is that I didn't turn the waterfall slightly transparent, which you will want to do so the background shows through it. But I didn't really like the movement of the waterfall. It looked very not like a waterfall. So what I did is I kidnapped this tile, and then I copied the white from it. And this does not look good in the end, but it does do the job I want it to do, so I keep it. But I also end up screwing up because of it again. So I just copy paste it, move it up. This is all just me. You can do this however the heck you want. You can build your own. You can make your own, make it your own. Here I was trying to match it closer to the water down below. And then I do that, and you see it there. So now, when I hit play after I decide to add another waterfall, because I'm wonky like that. See, there's a lot more movement to it. It's a lot more dynamic. Please, if you do this, don't do what I did. Make it more custom. And stuff. Here is where I end up screwing up. Is because I forgot that the white was on a different layer and just kept moving along without even really thinking about it. So it does make it look wonkier than I would want it to. But what I'm going through is I am copying and pasting the bottom half of each of these tiles, so it supposedly would move the same. And then I'm moving that to its own waterfall tile. Make sure that when you do this, that the places you are putting things are marked the same as they are on all the tile sets, because you do have a limited amount per page that you can do. You could make as many different tile sets as you wanted with different things, but on each individual tile set, there's a limited number of water tiles and waterfall tiles you can have. Sorry, I left my water bottle across the room, so I had to run and grab it. So here what I'm doing is I'm just going through and adding a gradient erasure to it. It's not necessary, especially for how I half-heartedly did the rest of this. And I mean, mind you, I could have done this better. I should have added more of an angle to it, and I should have just erased a couple around the side because it doesn't match very well with the water tile I am pairing it with, but you know, it still does this thing. And I also learned how to do this one from a tutorial from the actual RM. I realized I had this on the wrong layer, so I moved it down a layer and deleted the upper layer. And then this is me doing the thing, adding it to the tops of the waterfalls. So what this does is if I had included the white, it makes it so there's just not a stark line between where the waterfall stops and where it hits the bottom. There, you can see it a lot better now. It would make it a lot more of a smooth transition, and just like it here, it's RGB. Okay, yeah, there I realized that I hadn't had it on RGB. And at that point, it didn't make much of a difference, except for the transparency exported. Yeah, and so that's about it for the water. And then on this, I'm just kind of showing you the bush, how it should actually look. Now, see, I mean, mind you, you would want to have different colors and probably different textures, but even the bush continues on with the pattern of the grass. So I thought that was kind of neat. But yeah, that is about it on how to do endless tiles and water tiles. I hope it was informative, and if I wasn't any help, I will leave a link down below in the description to the 2 tutorials that I originally learned this from, and hope they can help you if I couldn't. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!